So you want a feeling that your pelvis is really nicely rooted and grounded, and that you don't have to make too much effort with your legs, so your lower body is more or less, it's just settled, really earthed. Ideally, you want a bit of support for your pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor, kind of, you can feel it in your sitting position. It's harder to feel the pelvic floor. You can feel the bony structures around the pelvic floor. So if you put your hands into your buttock flesh, you can find the sitting bones. They're quite pointy, one on each side. And then you can slide your hands down the front of your pelvis here and find the pubic symphysis, or the pubic bones. And you can slide your hands down your tailbone all the way to the end and find your coccyx, or the tailbone. And those four bones together, four bony bits. I'm looking around for my model. I've got one here, but he's a man. This is a man, but anyway, it's the same bony structures. So the two sitting bones, the pubic symphysis, hang on, it's the front, pubic symphysis, and the coccyx. And the four bony structures together make a diamond shape. And that whole diamond shape is filled in with layers of muscle, which have become known as the pelvic floor. And if you can, whether you're on a ball or a cushion, if you lean forward a little bit and really have a sense of that diamond shape opening up, and then you nestle and snuggle the whole area down onto the ball or the cushion. So it's like you've very lovingly placed your pelvic floor on this lovely soft cushion. So it's very earthed, very grounded. It has some support. And against that support for the pelvis, for the legs, you can let there be some space. So you might just have a sense of the breastbone slightly lifting. You can let your shoulders drop away from your ears. And you can sit with your hands in your lap, or if you prefer, you can put one hand over your heart, one hand over your baby. And we're going to start with some movements for the neck. So it's like you're saying yes very slowly. Lift your chin and then lower your chin. And if possible, you breathe in and lift the chin, open the throat, and breathing out, lower the chin and close the throat. Each of these movements we're going to do about 6 to 8 times. So once you've watched me do it once or twice, you might find it's more satisfying to let your eyes go and follow your own breath. So inhale, lifting the chin, and exhale, lowering. Just natural, normal breath. You can blow out through the lips. And then leave your chin down, like you've nodded your head down, and you're going to roll your head out to one side. So if you want to open your eyes and peek and just watch one round of this, we're not rolling the head all the way around in a 360-degree circle, it's just through the front of the body. And I suggest what you do is exhale, roll the chin down towards the chest, and then inhale, just rolling over to one side, glance upwards. Exhale, rolling the chin back down towards the chest, and inhale, over to the other side. And these movements for everyone, you don't need to do them at 100%. So it's more like 50 to 60% effort, and then a real concentration on letting the movement flow with the breath. So it's less like pulling and stretching and more of a kind of unraveling unwinding sort of a feeling, a light touch. And this movement in particular is almost a bit hypnotic. It's like a pendulum swinging from side to side, very slowly and softly. Exhale, chin to chest, inhale, rolling up to the side. So do a few more of this one to each side. Take care you don't end up speeding up. Keep it soft and smooth. Make sure you're not biting down on your back teeth or tensing your jaw as you do this. You can yawn, you can sigh. And then again, rolling your chin back down towards your chest. If you've had your eyes closed, let them open and then very slowly lift your gaze. So you're going to look up and forwards again. And now we're going to say no. So we're going to be saying no very slowly and yet clearly. Turning the head to look to one side, coming back to the center, and turning the head to look to the other side. And be careful as you do this one that you don't go too far. So what we often do is we turn our head and then we want to see further. So we sort of twist as well and lift the chin. I don't want you to do that. So you keep your chin, kind of keep your face parallel if you like, and you just turn a little bit to one side, back to the center, and a little bit to the other side. And back to the center. So we're not twisting the neck. Slow no. Moving with the breath. Maybe you exhale over to one side. Inhale back to the center. Exhale to the other side. And as a mum, you need to be able to say yes very clearly, and you need to very much be able to say no very clearly. So, and these movements are just for helping with joint mobility for the neck. Say no one more time, once to each side. And then bring your head back to the center. If you've had your eyes closed, open up your eyes and imagine that your head was like a teapot with two spouts. So you've got a spout coming out of each ear. This is one of my favorite metaphors, yoga metaphors. So what we're going to do is breathe in with the head at the center, and you exhale, you pour the tea from one ear. And inhale back to the center. And exhale, you pour the tea from the other ear. And so on. So another slightly hypnotic movement, this one. Once you've got it, you can close your eyes. Pouring from one ear as you breathe out, breathing in back to the center. Pouring out from the other ear. Breathing in back to center. Smooth, soft, slow, steady. Not necessarily going as far as you can. So it's not about going as far as you can. It's about making the movement very smooth. So pour the tea once more from each ear. And then let your head settle again back at the center. And you're going to bring up one hand. And you actually, so now you're going to block the teapot. So you put one hand over your ear, or it might be a little bit further up actually, more over the side of your head. And you're going to lean into your hand but resist. So it's like you're going to pour the tea, but you can't because you're pressing gently with your hand. So you feel that your neck muscles tense a little bit. It's like they're trying to move, but you're resisting them. So you get a bit of tension. Good tension. Tense. And then after one more deep breath in and out, release. See how that's feeling. We'll do the same on the other side. So you're going to attempt to pour the tea out of your other ear, but you resist a little bit with your hand. A little bit of movement and then resist. So you're pressing your hand into your head, pressing your head into your hand. So the neck will tense. Try and keep your jaw and throat soft. You can breathe out through your gently pursed lips. Maybe just one more breath. And then release. Give your head a little wobble around. And you can now massage your neck muscles with your hand. So if you bring one hand behind the back of your neck, give it a little squeeze. I find that if I do this a few times with one hand and then a few times with the other hand, because it's usually your fingers that can do most good. So at the minute, I've got my left hand and I'm using my fingers just to squeeze the muscles on the right side of my neck. And then I can swap over, use my right hand to squeeze the left side of my neck. Okay, and then same kind of principle. I'm going to use my left hand to pick up the trapezius muscles on my right shoulder. So it's like a grab and squeeze. Grab, squeeze, lift it, like you're kind of picking the muscles up off your back. Okay, so it's tense, but in a nice way. Squeeze, breathe, sigh. One more breath. And then release. Give that shoulder a little bit of movement. Same on the other side. So you grab the muscles, squeeze, grab, and pull up. Squeeze and keep breathing. So you just, there's quite a strong sensation of squeezing in the shoulder, but keep the rest of your head and face nice and soft. Let your lips be soft. If you can do that kind of rubbery lip, try that. No one ever likes trying that in real life classes because everyone's embarrassed. You can do that at home. And release that shoulder, give it a little squeeze. And now roll both shoulders together. So we're going to do a few of these. So again, once you've got it, you can close your eyes. And you're going to inhale, draw your shoulders up towards your ears, and exhale, draw them down and back. And then see if you can reverse that movement. So you're rolling the shoulders in the opposite direction. And then relax. Feel the sensations in your head and neck and shoulders. And we're going to bring some attention into our hands and wrists. So what I suggest you do is put your hands out in front of you, fold your thumbs into the palms of your hands and squeeze your thumbs really quite hard. So again, more tense. Real big squeeze with the palms of the hands. And then when it's just the right moment, it's like you're doing some magic. So I find it very hard not to say kapow, but you might want to squeeze and then breathe out like that, or squeeze and then stick your tongue out. So I shall leave you to cast your own magic spell, however feels good. So tensing of the hands, squeezing, and then release, pow, and then give your wrists a little bit of a shake. And you can use one hand to stretch the other. So I'm going to use my hand now to open up the palm here. Yeah, woo, everyone's wiggling, lovely, lovely wiggling. So stretch your palm, open up your thumb, breathing into that. So it's really common during pregnancy to get achy wrists or some form of repetitive strain injury, RSI, even if you don't normally get that. You can get it in pregnancy just because the joints are more swollen, harder for blood to flow through the wrist. Give that hand a little shake. Same on the other side. So open up the palm, open up the space between the thumb and the index finger, and then press. And stretch on the palm of the hand and on the wrist. So you're in charge of how much pressure, by the way. You might not need very much. You might not need very long. And a little shake out, a little bit more magic. Okay, and then bring your hands together in the center of your chest. I think we did this last week or maybe the week before. You open your palms out, you've got a little book in the palms of your hands. Roll the backs of the hands together, and as you do that, your fingers will point back in towards your chest, and you get this funny kind of roly-poly movement. And now the backs of your hands are together and your arms are straight and your upper back's nice and open. And then we undo that, so fingers down, they roll in towards your chest, and then you bring the palms of the hands back together again. I'll just show you sideways as well, so palms together, open, backs of the hands come together, and for that to happen, your fingers will be rolling down, and then you slide them away. And then from this position to come back, point the fingers down and in towards the center of your chest, and then roll back around to where you began. So it's quite a complicated movement, actually. You're moving your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders, but it's not a movement you can really do by thinking about it. So sometimes it's helpful just to do this a couple of times quite quickly. And once you've got it, you can slow it down again and think a bit more about your breathing. So we can rest our thumbs against our breastbone and inhale up into the heart space. And the exhale, it's like you're going on this very tumultuous journey. Everything gets turned upside down, and then you find that you're all asunder in a funny position. Inhale here into the back of the heart, the space between the shoulder blades. And let the exhale bring you back to where you began, back at your center. So inhale into the front of the heart. Quite a soft, spirally movement for wrists and elbows and shoulders. Inhale into the back of the heart. And softly rolling the hands back in. So we'll do that twice more. Move at your own breath. If moving with the breath makes you stressed, don't do it. Don't stop breathing, stop moving. And stop worrying about movement and breath together. This is all meant to be fun and fluid and enjoyable. And you can finish this little sequence by just checking in again with your baby. So from your hands from your heart, and then down over your baby. And depending on the gestation of your baby, you might feel movement, or you might feel that they're kicking, or you might just have a sense of them resting, checking in with the baby. So they don't get any choice, do they? They're just kind of dragged along to yoga. So we're going to now take your hands down over your baby and then out into a big circle. Fingers lightly touch above your head and bring them back down into the center of the chest. Inhale, exhale, and then inhale, exhale. One more like that. Chance to nice big movement with the arms. Exhale, bring your hands back into the heart. And then this time place your fingers just on the tops of your shoulders so your elbows are sticking out to the side. And we're going to make little elbow circles. And these can be teeny tiny little circles, or they can be really quite big circles. So once you know what we're doing, you could close your eyes and not worry too much about the size of your circles, but just feel the movement that's needed for you today. And what you might feel as you do this movement is it does actually affect your breast tissue as well. So you can become aware as you move your elbows, move your shoulders, a little bit of movement or sensation around the breast tissue. If you can, reverse the direction, circle the opposite way. And then when you feel done with that, let your arms rest down by your sides, give them a little rest and a little shake out. And then bring the backs of your hands together. So it's like a slightly sort of floppy position with the backs of the hands together. Fingers pointing down towards the floor. And you're going to bring your arms up in front of your face and then open them up and around and back. As the hands come together in front of the baby, you could touch your baby if you'd like to, but then again, it's backs of the hands together, up through the midline, open at the top, and around and in. And actually, since it's Easter Sunday, doesn't this feel a bit like a little egg shape that you make? You and your baby together in a little Easter egg. You bring your hands up and then open and around and gather in, touching the babies if you want to, and then up. So what I want to invite you to do now is see where this leads you, because it might be that where you need to be this morning is in this very big and spacious place, creating a lovely bubble or egg or cocoon around you and your baby. Or it may be that it feels quite nice to take this movement actually now right in over the body. You slide your hands up the midline of your body, actually in between your breasts. You're actually touching your breastbone, your breast tissue, and then around like this around the breast. So it becomes more of a kind of self-massage. Sliding the hands together up the midline, across the top of the chest and down and under the breast. So this is a really nice thing to do both during pregnancy and postpartum to help with a feeling of comfort and ease for the breasts. So everyone is affected differently, but I don't mind sharing that when I was pregnant, both times I went up like a bra size pretty much every week and ended up feeling like Dolly Parton by the end of it. I couldn't believe it. And then I've more or less gone back to normal now. But you know, and it can be a lot of extra weight to carry. It can cause a lot of tension for your upper back and shoulders that we're hopefully releasing through these practices. And it can also be such a fabulous thing, because what your body is doing is getting ready to feed your babies, filling your breasts up with milk. To get the milk out and into the baby, you've got to be really relaxed. You've got to be filled up with love and oxytocin, the hormone, the love hormone, for it to work. When we're tense and when we're stressed, it can really hinder free production of milk and the free flow of milk. So it can be quite a challenging time, kind of getting to grips with feeding your babies. And there's all sorts of things that can help if you find it difficult. If your intention is to breastfeed and you find it difficult, there's all sorts of support and help out there. So I'm not going to go into all of that now, but do be aware that you do need to be able to relax. Sometimes what's needed is a good cuddle, back to bed with lots of pillows, a relaxation, bit of breast massage, chocolate biscuit, and a phone call with someone who can give you some reassurance. So breast massage, or if you're not really feeling like breast massage, or if, like no one on the call's postpartum today, but sometimes this just gets like you have to run for your breast pads so the milk starts squirting out. So you might want to stay more in this spacious place, working hands off the body. This is still working with the breast tissue as well, lifting the breast tissue. So I'm going to do a couple more movements, either the close into the body or wide out in your lovely bubble, you and your baby together. And then we're going to come forward again onto all fours. So you can just lean forward off your cushions, or if you're on your ball, I'm going to suggest you come down off your ball and turn around so that you can lean on your ball. And we're going to just one more time take the babies on these little journeys So side to side, babies in the hammocks. And then circling the hips, babies on the merry-go-round. Circling the other way if your inner wisdom tells you to. And then taking babies on the roller coaster ride, or if you're resting on your ball in this moment, you might rather do a kind of supported cat pose. It's harder to do the roller coaster on the ball. Put my ball back in. Harder to do the roller coaster, but you can lean on the ball and round your spine and then lift your head and chest. And you get a bit of spinal movement. And then we're going to make our way into a side lying position. And I'm going to suggest that you lie initially on your right side. And then we're going to roll over and lie on our left side for a relaxation. But there's a movement that we're going to do on our right side. The ball's running away, which I'll show you now. That looks like this. So we're going to go a few times around on the right, lying on the right side, circling the left arm. And then we'll roll over onto the left side and circle the other arm. And then we'll be settling for relaxation. So as you come now and lie down on your side, make sure that you have got, I'm going to put more than this for me, make sure you've got plenty of padding for under your head. And if you can find something to put between your knees, like a bolster or a couple of blankets, you can get that ready. And you might want to have a blanket ready to put over the top of you, but don't get yourself too kind of nested in just yet. Because like I said, just to finish off our little moving sequence for releasing head, neck and shoulder tension, I want to suggest that you lie on your right side, lift your left arm. And then let there be a little bit of a movement with that left arm. And it might be a big movement, like I'm demonstrating now, or it might be quite a little movement. You could just float your arm up and circle your wrist. Like there's a place where it's quite strange. It's like your arm just sort of floats and balances and requires hardly any effort at all. So you could let it float up like that. Or you can do these big shoulder circles. Moving freely with the breath. Letting the breath move, especially in this top lung, your left lung. And we're going to stay just another 30 seconds or so on this side. You might rest your arm down for a moment. And then before you roll to the other side, roll onto your back. It's just for a breath or two. So it's okay, even if you're 30 weeks plus, it's okay just for this moment, just to roll onto your back. See if you can feel any difference in sensation between the right and left sides. And then continue on your journey. So you're rolling onto your other side. Keep your blankets between your knees. Make sure your head's supported and comfortable. And then the right arm floats up. And see what movement comes. So maybe you're just circling your wrist, or maybe your big circles. And you know what you're doing now, so you can close your eyes. You can yawn and sigh, or blow your breath out through your lips, gently pursed lips. Nice, soft, floaty movement. And then as and when you feel ready to just settle that right arm down. And if you have got something that you could cuddle, like a couple of pillows that you can hug to your chest, that can really help for side lying relaxation. And if there's anything you could lay over your eyes, like a little scarf or the edge of the corner of a blanket, you can do that. So your eyes have got a bit of cover. And we're going to settle and stop moving. Have a little bit of stillness now. Yeah, if you've got a blanket you want to pull over you to keep you and your baby safe and warm. Curling it in. So you make yourself almost like in a fetal position, slightly rounded. Really safe. Sometimes their babies need a bit of padding as well. You never knew you needed so many cushions until you became pregnant and then signed up for pregnancy yoga, cushion yoga. So pad your bumps if they need a bit of padding. The more support you have underneath you, around you, over the top of you, the more support you have, the more at ease you can be, the more stable your body will be. And whether or not you've got a real cover over you, you might find you don't need it because you might have your own internal heat making you very warm at the minute. I'd like you to imagine a cloak of protection at your back. So you can imagine or visualize or feel in some way this cloak of protection at your back. A bit of support at your back, keeping you safe, you and your baby, kept safe, sheltered. Become aware of the shape and the form of your physical body, the position of your body, and the contact now between your body and the earth underneath you, the support underneath you. And have a sense as you exhale now of really letting go into that support, becoming heavy, becoming still. And understanding that you have permission to do that. You do not have to be moving all of the time. You do not have to be active all of the time. In fact, right now, your challenge is to be as passive as you can, to do as little as possible. Because I know that you can do more, but the question is, can we do less? And now become aware of your breath. And notice that your breath requires no effort. It's simply there. It's always there. It's a very steady friend that's always there. And so I wonder now, can you have a sense, not so much that you need to take a breath in, But could you receive it? Could you receive the breath? Can you let the breath out and then just watch and wait and let the next breath be received? So there's nothing to do. It just comes like a gift, receiving each breath. Now be aware of your baby. And know your baby's receiving these same breaths. And your baby can hear and feel these same breaths. And maybe you feel how your abdomen gently responds to the rhythm of the breath. You might actually feel the muscles around your abdomen, the diaphragm, and even the other abdominal muscles and the abdominal organs. Everything's responding to the breath, gently expanding and contracting, and rising and falling. So each and every breath is like a massage from the inside out. It's like hugging your baby from the inside out. Hugging the womb from the inside out, so she can be more comfortable, so she can do her job more easily. Each and every breath. And now be aware again of the whole body resting and settling. And if you need to adjust your position slightly to be even more comfortable, please feel welcome to do that. But settling with even more ease. Allowing yourself to be still, allowing yourself to be quiet. And as the physical body rests, allow for your mind's attention now to make a little journey, like taking a stroll around the landscape of the physical body. And resting just briefly now in each part of the body as it's named. Starting on the forehead at the point between the eyebrows. And dropping down into the little valley at the base of the throat between the two collarbones. And then over into the left shoulder. And all the way down the left arm through the wrist and the elbow first, the elbow and then the wrist, the back of the left hand, and the thumb and each of the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The palm of the left hand, and now back up through the wrist and the elbow and the shoulder, across to the base of the throat, and then over into the right shoulder, and all the way down the right arm, through the elbow and the wrist, the back of the hand, thumb and each of the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Palm of the hand, and back up through the wrist and the elbow, shoulder, and across to the base of the throat. And now down the midline of the body and into the space behind the breastbone. From here, looking out into the left side of the chest, back to the center, and then looking out into the right side of the chest, back to the center, and traveling down and into the space behind the belly button, and down and in to the space behind the pubic bones, in the center of the pelvis. Traveling out now into the left hip and all the way down the left leg, through the knee and ankle, to the top of the foot, and then each of the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sole of the foot, and back up through the ankle and the knee and the hip, back onto the midline of the body in the center of the pelvis. And now over into the right hip and all the way down the right leg, through the knee and the ankle, to the top of the foot, and onto each of the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In through the sole of the foot and back up through the ankle and knee and hip. Back onto the midline of the body in the center of the pelvis. Letting your attention rest there a little while in the center of the pelvis, so the whole of the pelvic space can be filled with your awareness. And then letting the awareness be in the center of the abdomen, behind the belly button and around the back of the waist. So the whole of the abdominal space can be filled with your awareness. And then up and in behind the breastbone, in the center of the chest, and allowing the whole of the heart space to be filled with your awareness. And now traveling back to that little valley at the base of the throat between the collarbones, and up over the face to the center of the forehead. And now all the way up onto the very top of the head, like climbing up a mountain from the top of which you can see out across the whole of the landscape of the body and take in the whole of the view, the whole of the landscape of the physical body all together, all the way through, whole body resting, whole body breathing, with nothing to do, no one to please, nothing to be achieved, just being. And aligning your awareness now with the center line of the body. Establish a connection between the center of the chest or the heart space and the center of the pelvis or the womb space. Or it might feel for you just simply a connection between your heart space and your baby. And as you rest here a little while longer, let there be a little communication that happens between those two spaces. So the heart space and the womb space or the baby space. And as you inhale, you might feel that you can really connect with and be present with the sensations in your heart, gathering up the love and the warmth in your heart. And as you exhale, you might feel you can really be present with and connect with your baby. Let the love from your heart be sent down to your baby. So you're inhaling and letting your awareness travel up into the heart space. And exhaling and letting your awareness flow down into the womb space, baby space. Or put very simply, breathing in, gathering up the love in your heart, Breathing out, sending the love down to your baby. Inhaling into the heart. Exhaling, breathing love to your baby. Connecting through breath, mother and baby. Gentle massage from the inside out. Nothing to do, no one to please, just being. Now welcoming in the sound of the bell. Become interested in and curious about the other sounds that you might be able to hear where you are. The sounds around your home. The sounds around your building. And in the world outside your window. Allowing your attention to travel upward and outward. Welcoming in sound from nearby and from further away. Listening out for the furthest away sound. And then listening in for the sound of your own breath. And you might lengthen or deepen your breath now. Doing whatever it is that feels comfortable with your breathing to help you feel just a little bit more awake or aware or alert. You can yawn, you can sigh. Oh. And connect with your sense of touch. So feeling now your position on the ground or on your couch. The support underneath you, your cushions, your blankets. Welcoming in the touch sensations and welcoming in the touch sensation of your breath. You might feel the touch of the breath in your nostrils, cooler on the inhalation, warmer on the exhalation. You can connect with your sense of smell. And lick your lips or run your tongue along your teeth. And this is the point at which if you had a little bit of an Easter treat somewhere handy and you wanted to just pop a little bit of chocolate or something in your mouth and have a sweet taste in your mouth, either now or in a little bit when you're ready to get up. It would be a really nice way of grounding after a relaxation practice. Connecting with all our senses. Sound and touch, smell and taste, And sight, what can we see? You might not feel like opening your eyes just at the minute, but you could see in your mind's eye where you are, what the room you're in is like, where you are in the room. And you might just very gently think about fluttering your eyelids, open and then closed again. Open and then closed again. And just connecting in with this ability to see, to perceive. Connecting with sight. And this little exercise that we've just been through, very simple, our senses, is actually quite a well-known practice for moments of anxiety or even panic. A grounding practice, just to feel, well, what's really happening right now? What do I hear right now, nearby and further away? What do I feel right now, underneath me, all around me? Breath in my body, breath in my nostrils, breath in my mouth, breath down inside me. What can I smell? What can I taste? What can I see? Taking it all in, all the sensory input of this moment.